you look at things? Will you change the way you look at things? Will you niche to be rich? Hi, my name is Ann McNeil, and welcome to Ann's Wonderful Words of Wisdom on Wednesday, greeting you from the Florida Airports Council event and conference here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Niche to be richer. Are you willing to niche in your business and your life? Today, I had an aha moment while attending this conference in Fort Lauderdale. And I think it was Wayne Dyer that said, when you, Ann McNeil, change, I would like to put a period that when you change, but he actually said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Can I say that again? Wayne Dyer said, Ann McNeil, and I'm going to say to you, whoever's listening to me on these Ann's Wonderful Words of Wisdom today on Wednesday, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And for me, the aha moment came when I reread that. I put a period after the word change. Ann McNeil, and you put your name in that spot. When you change your state of mind and change how you see things, change how you view things. When you change and begin to niche in your niche to be rich in your niche. And the reason I chose to do this Ann's Wonderful Words today here in front of this banner is because I just had a major aha moment while attending the last day of this event, wherein I was taking a selfie with someone, and standing behind that person was the secretary of District 4 for my state. And standing in front of that person was the secretary of the entire state of Florida. This is about niche to be rich in your craft and niche to be rich in your industry. And they were each waiting for me to take a selfie with them. I wasn't thinking about that. And all of a sudden, I realized as the Secretary of Transportation for the entire state of Florida was walking toward me, and he said, I'm waiting for my selfie. And I thought to myself, really? He said, yes, we always take a selfie. And as I attempted to give my phone to somebody else, he said, no, we take a selfie. Same thing with District 4 secretary, and the same thing with the airport director for Fort Lauderdale Airport. And they all said the same thing. Actually, the airport director, I was taking a picture of the screen, what was on the screen. He thought I was taking a selfie, and he leaned over toward me thinking I was taking the selfie. And I said, no, I'm taking a picture of the screen. And he said, okay, I'll wait. Now, what's my point here as we talk about niche to be richer in your industry, niche to be richer in your craft, but niche in your relationships? When you change, Ann McNeil, and I'm talking to each of you, you must change the way you look at things. And trust me, the things you look at change. Change the way you look at your business. Are you building a business of relationships with your clients and your client's client and your client's client? That's what today's reminder for me was about. All of these individuals were friends. Now, after 5, 10, some 15, and in the airport of Fort Lauderdale Airport's case, almost 20 years. But it didn't always start like that. I built a relationship first. And the business comes as a result of niching in that industry. I do the same thing, and I'm going to challenge you to do the same thing in the transportation space. If you're in any business, niche in your space. I do the same thing in healthcare. I do the same thing in water, the same thing in transit, the same thing in facilities. Niche to be richer. But start niching in the relationships in the industry. Because when you change, period, the way you look at things and people, the things you look at change toward you and how they look at you. And so again, thank you for participating in our Ann's Wonderful Words of Wisdom today, talking about the fact that you may want a niche to be richer in your relationships, in your craft, in your industry and in your business, and it will be reflected in your bottom line. And then remember the Wayne Dwyer quote, where he said, when you change, I put a comma or a period after that word because we first must change first. When you change the way you look at things, then the things you look at change. Have a great day. Remember to continue to think and grow richer, but also niche to be richer. You can connect with me by going to LinkedIn, and you can connect there. That's Ann McNeil. You can also connect with me by subscribing to my YouTube channel and follow and click that notification bell. All right, we'll see you next time. And remember, continue to think and grow richer and niche to be richer. Have a great day.